What's the craziest thing you've heard a PT claim to be able to do?
Oh boy. I don't know, man. I can think of way crazier things I've heard chiropractors claim to do, but I did once get told by an Australian physiotherapist at a wedding dinner that I killed babies. And she was entirely serious and like frothing at the mouth in rage that I would just exist and be a chiropractor. And yeah, that was probably just the wildest like accusation I've heard.
Is it true?
I mean, not yet. No. So really, they're pretty hostile toward chiropractic in Australia, like wildly so.
Welcome back to The Flop, the place where we dive into business failure and have some fun while doing so. I'm your host, Wes Rissel, and with me, I have my two co-hosts and good buds, Tyler Cope and Josh Bowman. How we doing, boys?
Doing great. Thanks, Wes.
Well, we have another super exciting episode for you today, and we'll be talking with Ty. And Ty is a chiropractor and runs his own chiropractic practice. Say that 6 times fast. We're going to be diving into kind of where his business is currently, the struggles he ran into when starting the practice, how he got through COVID, all those fun things. But I won't ruin the surprise for everyone. We'll hop into that in 1 second. Before we do that, let's hop into everybody's favorite segment, Fails of the Week. Boys, how did we fail this week?
I'll go first. I got this one, Wes. I'll be so brave. Yeah, this week I failed pretty great. I'm planning on an event this weekend with a buddy of mine, and my failure was that I started to get excited, and I started over-planning 2 or 3 parts to that event, and got stressed out by it all and had to cancel more than half of it. So I pulled back. I said, this is too much.
Yeah, what he's trying to say is everybody hates Josh right now.
Josh took a big swing and missed it a little bit. Nothing venture, nothing gain, Bowman.
It's okay. We still love you. Well, I'll share my fail of the week, and it's a fail that's been going on for a long time now, and that's the fact that I live in a graveyard for plants. It just struck me the other day that I have very few leaves left on anything that's growing in my apartment. So if you look, there you go. You can see a plant that has maybe 20% of its leaves on there. I've tried it all. I try to water once a week. I try to neglect them. I try to overwater them. Nothing works. It just dies.
Tyler's got a green thumb.
Could your plant need more light?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good suggestion. Maybe I shouldn't keep my blinds down like they are on the camera right here.
I was going to say.
They said it was an indoor plant. I thought they didn't need light. We got the lights on overhead. Come on.
Tyler, you need to look up plants that grow in caves, and that's what you should shoot after.
Noted.
So my fail of the week. So Denver is in a state of economic disarray, and it's deteriorating quickly. As such, there's tragically an abundance of homelessness. And in the last week, a homeless person shat on our fence at our office. Immensely frustrating and gross, right in front of our patients' parking spots. Why they did that, not in like the dirt patch across the alleyway, I have no idea, but felt kind of personal. So when we called the city, because the city will remove graffiti from commercial spaces, I was hopeful they would remove human feces. And not only do they not remove that, but they're not even the slightest bit empathetic when they're telling you that they're not going to remove it. And some of the people that answer the phone might even be a bit sassy about telling you they're not going to help with it. So I kind of lost my cool with the city employee on the phone this week. And I do not feel like apologizing to her at all. However, I would like to have the equanimity to not, lay into people who have otherwise crappy jobs.
Crappy in more ways than one.
City of Denver lady, if you're listening, Ty is completely unapologetic.
Yeah, not sorry. I am not sorry. In fact, I wish I had a few more words to say to you, but best I don't. So,
how did they shit on the fence?
Dude, it defies logic. I don't know why they didn't just go squat. It would have made the physics of it would have made so much more sense, but I don't want to get into too much detail, but one might say they sprayed on our fence. So yeah, it was pretty foul. It was gross.
My thought is that maybe, Ty, this could be a potential client because if they can't poop on the sidewalk, maybe they can't squat, right? So did you consider the fact that you might be able to help this person. You know,
That's a good point. I'll put a sign out next time.
please do.
Well, my fail of the week happened somewhat recently. I forgot to tell Kay that I had this podcast tonight. Kay is my wife, and she's amazing. So she's awesome and helping support me. But with that being said, I feel bad. And yeah, that's the fail.
Wait, Wes, would you say as you prioritize the podcast over your wife? Where do they stack in terms of priority?
Yeah,
1,
what's
2,
more
3?
important, Wes?
Like how my
Wife,
marriage,
new child, your friends, podcast. Where are we placing these? I need to know where you stand. What's your dedication?
Same.
podcast right here. No. Wife's higher than the pod. Sorry, boys. Ty, let's hop into your chiropractic practice. So for the viewers out there, can you just give a background to how you got started, when you got started, and maybe what made you start a practice right out of school?
Yeah. So a little bit about my practice. So I'm an upper cervical chiropractor. That means I specialize in the upper cervical spine. I still analyze and treat the entire spine, but we kind of prioritize that area first, as it tends to be mechanically a bit more complex and neurologically a lot more relevant than other parts of the spine. My practice is turning 7 years old in April. Like you said, I opened up right out of school. Part of the motivation for that was for clinicians in like the manual therapies, whether it's physical therapy, chiropractic, or other. If they're thinking about joining a private practice, I think you often have to kind of weigh your clinical values and your sort of business ethic values. And if you can't find a perfect match who's also ready and in a position to hire you, then there aren't really great options. It was a tremendous amount of work. I like to say, people will often say like, "Oh, that's very brave of you," and usually I'll respond, "If it was brave, it was also equal parts stupid." That's the fun of starting a practice.
How did you pick where you set up your practice, Ty? Did you just find a random lot and said, "That's Ty's practice right then and there"?
So I'm from Florida, and I went to school in Atlanta. And when looking at what cities I wanted to open up in, some of my criteria were very much focused on kind of my quality of life and what I was looking for and where I would enjoy to live. Or I guess one of my criteria was being in a major city with a major airport with close proximity to year-round outdoor stuff. So Denver's high on that list, at least as U.S. cities go. It's a pretty health conscious state. I think we're the leanest state, or certainly one of the leanest states, which is a pretty big difference from Georgia. Definitely a little bit different culturally there. Yeah, and so when picking this specific location, and I actually reached out to a mentor because the one we settled on was a bit outside the kind of upper end limit of the price range we were looking for. And that mentor said, what space between these two finalists, which one would you feel more proud bringing patients into? And that was a really powerful way to think of it, because it was like, you know what, I'm going to feel a lot more proud walking into this office every day and having patients show up to this office.
Ty, you mentioned early on that when you were looking out of school of where you wanted to work, that you didn't really align with some of the other chiropractors that were out there. What were some of the values that you found you clashed with, and what were some of the things that you were hoping to establish in your own practice?
Most upper cervical docs don't typically do like high volume practices. Some of them do. I would have the unpopular opinion that maybe your clinical outcomes and care suffers. They would certainly argue against that. But I was not interested in doing like a high volume practice. And so a lot of the things that chiropractors do to drive new patients into their practice, I find are a bit unbecoming. We have enough of a hole to dig ourselves out of with the reputation some chiropractors have earned us. So I did not want to be a part of that problem. And those are kind of the main things that drove me toward opening my own.
Yeah, so it sounds like you didn't want to create a patient factory. Get in, crack, 5-minute appointments.
Have a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Ty, what made you want to work on upper cervical? Because I feel like that isn't always the most common type of chiropractic care that's out there.
Yeah. So I was heavily involved with a technique club on campus that was a full spine technique for like my first 3 years in school. And it's fantastic work. But in my final year, I was introduced to the upper cervical work, and the doc that I shadowed to learn some of that, I had never really seen the spectrum of different patients getting the magnitude of results that doc was helping provide.
I have a question. I'm sorry. I'm only non-doctor on the call here. What's upper cervical care, and what was that other word you use? What are you guys talking about right now?
It's the top part of the cervix. That's what he's referring to right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ty, did you want to clarify a bit further? That was my expectation. That was my understanding.
No, and that's okay. That's hilarious. That happens all the time, actually. But no, it is the upper cervical spine. However, the cervix is named such because it is the neck of the uterus.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah. So don't come to me if you want your cervix worked on. I'm not the wrong guy.
So just for everyone listening out there, there's usually a bit of a rivalry between PTs and chiropractors. And I want to, let's have a little fun here. Let's dive into that part a little bit. Ty, what's the craziest thing you've heard a PT claim to be able to do?
Oh boy. I don't know, man. I can think of way crazier things I've heard chiropractors claim to do, but I did once get told by an Australian physiotherapist at a wedding dinner that I killed babies. And she was entirely serious and like frothing at the mouth in rage that I would just exist and be a chiropractor. And that was probably just the wildest like accusation I've heard.
Is it true?
I mean, not yet. No. So really, they were pretty hostile toward chiropractic in Australia, like wildly so, which is a bummer. And you know, on one hand, I get it. There's a lot of chiropractors doing some weird stuff that I certainly do not endorse. I guess it just shocks me that people in clinical practice don't have the sense to recognize that it's like, well, guys, does every physical therapist practice the exact same way? No. Does every surgeon, does every nutritionist or dietitian practice the exact same way? Like, of course not.
At times, we tell patients that there's something wrong with you. For example, using the chiropractic classic one of your spine is out of alignment, right? Like there's a vertebrae that's slipping out. It's just running away from your spine and you're fragile. And the only way that you can feel better is if I, the doctor, provide this intervention and fix you, right? And then what happens is anytime then in the future, they start to feel not so good, something's going down. I am inherently unstable with my spine. I need to go back and see my chiropractor again. And again, this applies to PT. I'm not singling out chiropractic, but I do think that example at least has given chiropractic a bad name from time to time. So, you know, how do you think that we as providers, not you, but just the profession in general, plays a role with that? And how do you think we can do better?
In terms of kind of the recurrence of needing care and things of that nature, I mean, I think of it like for millions of years, well, maybe not millions of years, for certainly thousands of years, depending on when we want to start calling us humans. We used to have to go out and hunt and gather and do very laborious things for our day-to-day lifestyle. Now you can get your food through the window of your car from a clown, you know? So we've sort of removed all of these very healthy, natural stressors that developed strong, robust bodies. And we've inserted profoundly toxic and unhealthy stressors on our body. And so that some people have, you know, less than optimal spine health, to me is no major surprise. I would love to say that all we needed to do was like eat red meat, listen to Metallica and deadlift and we'd be healthy. And I think that's generally a truth. But the reality is most people aren't doing two of those three things, you know? And so I don't know, it kind of makes for a situation where I think there are healthy people that have healthy lifestyles that do not need to visit their chiropractor terribly regularly. But if you are seeing your patient like every 2 weeks or every week for years on end, I mean, at some point, someone has to start asking if maybe there's a better way to spend your time, if that's having the desired outcome, you know, or not.
I want to hear more about this business. I'm tired of all this PT shaming going on in this podcast. Wes, can you please keep our boys under control here?
Okay, let's bring things back to the practice itself. Ty, tell us of some struggles you ran into while growing your practice and trying to stay afloat, especially during that COVID time.
Major struggles during that time was, I think, just like maintaining the confidence that I didn't need to go out and do those other sort of cheesy marketing things that many clinicians resort to doing that drive new patients in. And that if I just took good enough care of people and treated them well enough and practiced ethically and really put my patients' outcomes first. And it's hard when you're looking around and you know people that opened up at the same time at you that seem like they're just doing gangbusters. And no small part of that is that people are absolutely full of shit in how successful they are in their practices and businesses. Yeah, just having faith that it's like, look, I will not compromise. I'm not going to practice in a way that feels morally bankrupt in the slightest bit to me.
Ty, have you seen many other chiropractors claim to do miracles in their marketing material where you're like, there's no way in hell that they can be serious over here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's tricky too, because like it sort of depends on the platform, right? Like you can't get away with that on paid Facebook ads. You can't even target conditions. Like I couldn't put a Facebook advertisement out and be like, do you have migraines? We might be able to help you. That's against their policies. So that doesn't stop people from making wild claims in a marketing effort. I don't want to give away too much information, but we had a neuroscientist under care, really, really bright person. And they were asking me about something that was circulating at the place they worked, because some chiropractor early on in COVID was talking about how their adjustments keep you safe from COVID. And this neuroscientist was like, what the hell is that about? And I was like, that is the dark side of chiropractic. And unfortunately, if chiropractic was a cube, there's like 5 of 6 sides are dark sides as I see it. And so, yeah, I kind of had to walk through it with them and explain that, yeah, there are certainly clinicians that make these type of outlandish and ridiculous claims. And I'm sure that person saying that thought they were justified. And the really enraging thing, though, is that like they said that with no sense of the fact that now a collection of neuroscientists that work together think we're idiots because you said that.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's super frustrating.
So frustrating.
Hearing something like that, and you having to just go into defense mode because you need to save, because you own your own practice. You can't just let that stuff fly by, because then they tell someone else, and then everyone starts thinking, oh, chiropractors think they can solve COVID by cracking a few bones or a few joints in my neck.
And I certainly don't think that was a popular thing chiropractors were saying, but at least one was saying it. And that's all it takes, right? Is one bad apple spoils a bunch.
Yeah. I feel like, so if I look at differences between like PT and chiropractic, I think chiropractors make generally more bold claims like that, where PTs get themselves in trouble. So they can just be lazy. Like there are so many lazy PTs that just throw a dang hot pack on and walk away from their patient, and just charging Therex because you told them to do glute squeezes, and I think that's what gives our profession a bad rap, is a lot of that crap. Chiropractic is so much more polarizing because of the claims behind it.
Polarizing is a perfect word, and this is why you have, goodness, the most like frothing at the mouth of rage against chiropractic all over Reddit.
Well, let's get back into kind of the struggles there. I think you alluded to marketing being a challenge for you, because Facebook being almost overprotective of their users, which is kind of ironic because of Cambridge Analytica. But my question is, how have you gotten around that, Ty? What type of marketing tactics have you used to keep helping your practice grow?
We really don't do any formal marketing or advertising. We just I've spent so much wasted money on people, going back to people that are full of shit, internet marketers who seem to be most effective at marketing themselves. And I don't know how many thousands of dollars we've dumped into people who were so certain that at minimum we'll be producing X, Y, or Z. If, my ambitious goal is this. And when I say that not a single one of those people has ever even approached their most conservative estimate, I feel like I'm being too generous.
Ty, how many marketers did you go through?
Gosh, if we include like SEO people, it's got to be around a dozen.
12.
Yeah. Most of them all kind of internet based, but certainly the primary medium.
Ty, for all of the healthcare providers that are listening right now, What are some red flags that they can look for from these online business coaches or digital marketers that might make you think that they could be a scam?
I would say be cautious, because like people with no regard that for the fact that you might be like 25, 26, 27 years old, starting a practice, taking out huge amounts of loans, being in immeasurable debt, having no idea what you're doing. People still try to sell you things that you do not need. But then when it comes to more business coaches and stuff, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no type kind of mentality with that stuff. Because I think a lot of them just sort of repackage and regurgitate these very, unoriginal ideas. And they do so with this very rigid model that tends to be really just be some fancy version of like, well, this is what I did that worked, so do exactly what I did. That's really quick. If they're telling you that ice baths are a panacea to every problem you have and you need to be doing them every week, they're probably an asshole too.
So they probably are, but these are fighting words, Ty, because Wes owns
The king
a
of ice
plunge.
baths.
And Wes has no physical ailments or mental ailments whatsoever. He's healed everything with them. And I also like to hop in an ice bath, and I also face no ill repercussions in my own life and health in any way because we ice bath. So first of all, you're wrong, and you should take that back.
Yeah, I mean, again, take all the ice baths you want. I just it's if it feels like you're listening to some internet guru, you're probably listening to an internet guru.
Just so you know, and this is what you should be doing, Ty. Recommendation from the other non-doctor here is every day you get up early, you ice bath, and you listen to Grant Cardone's TikTok feed. Okay? He will tell you while you're in the ice bath that he's shaking. You just get a firm helping of how shitty you are. And then you get out of that ice bath and you just do everything he said in TikTok. That's my advice.
If there's one personality I hate on the internet, it is Grant Cardone. That guy is so freaking annoying. Give me anybody else but Grant Cardone.
I think everyone in that like hustle culture, like internet platform space is just pretty terrible in my book, and makes me want to poke my eyes out. And honestly does, like, I'm sure some people have listened to them and found tons of motivation and had wild success. But I feel like, I don't know, at the end of the day, it's like ideas don't move mountains, bulldozers move mountains. You probably just need to get your ass to work.
Ty, have you seen Ty Lopez's garage?
Oh God. I don't think I've seen years ago. I feel like I remember a video circulating of him like foam spraying a bunch of cars that people are like, he rented these, they're not his. But that's as much as I can tell about his garage. I don't know if there's any truth in that.
It's great marketing themselves, though. I mean, we're talking about these random people who aren't good at disseminating marketing materials other than if it's about themselves. So they're doing something right. They're just doing it the wrong way.
I mean, it's funny if you ever go to some of the like conferences of those type folk.
God.
It's amazing because you sit there in the crowd and you're like, you're saying nothing. Like they'll talk for an hour and a half, and it's like you managed to say so many words and there be nothing of actual value. And people are furiously scribbling notes like everything they're saying is important. And then you go back and read it and like this is all just vapid platitudes. This is nothing. But I don't know. It makes people feel temporarily motivated, and for the rest of the night, they're all jacked up on Mountain Dew, and then they go back in Monday morning, they still suck, and I don't know. It's just.
I want to admit something to our audience. I want to admit something. I have an absolute guilty pleasure of laughing at motivational personalities. I think I send Wes and Bowman Andy Elliott videos pretty much every day. And if you don't know who Andy Elliott is, my man can market the crap out of himself.
Yeah. He is the most entertaining out of all of them. He just says the most outrageous shit 24/7. It's like I can't get enough of it. I can't take him seriously, but I can't get enough of it. It is great.
I think the greatest bulk of the social media content I end up consuming is people making fun of the hustle culture like umbrella. That is the best stuff on the internet.
It is.
It never gets old. I laugh all day, every day when I see it.
I wanted to ask, you mentioned that people who pretend they're successful kind of can like make you feel like you're not doing well enough. That just seemed really interesting. Like, what did you have something that happened around that, or like when you were first starting, did it feel like maybe we're just doing it all wrong, everyone else is killing it? Like, I'm new to this business.
So I think it's that people tend to like dramatically embellish the amount of success they're having in many cases. It's like classic. I feel like people in the internet marketers or people that have like internet products, right? They'll be like, we're making $120,000 a month. And what they mean is after the last 24 months of prepping this launch, we launched and we made $120,000 in the month we launched. And so there's like a lot of that, like very sneaky, crafty stuff that ultimately it's like, why would they be dishonest? Well, because they're marketing. It's like the same phenomenon you see with any social media. It's like you're watching everyone's highlight reel.
So, Ty, my last question, at least in regards to your chiropractic practice, what were some of the lessons that you've learned over the past 7 years as you've been operating and running this thing?
Probably the single most important one, and this is again kind of catered for clinicians, but it's that like how you talk to your patients is everything. It's I think in many cases it's more important than what we actually do for them. And I don't think that of just chiropractic. I think that kind of across the board, I would say that that's true.
Yeah, and even if we go outside of healthcare, how you talk to your customers too. Like if you do spend face-to-face time with them, how you communicate with those individuals is huge.
I think hospitality is something that gets massively under indexed on, and it makes a big difference on your willingness and excitability about doing business with people. So hopefully, non-clinicians can take that away from it.
How do you establish a culture of hospitality in a business? How did you do it with your staff?
As much as I think that a lot of self-help or like personal development books are, again, repackaging the same thing said 1,000 different ways, or really said the same way, just printed in a new book. There are definitely some spectacular books that help you think about how to influence people positively, how to impact them, how to take care of them. There's a cool hospitality book I was recommended by a guy who owns a speakeasy, a really popular speakeasy in Denver that I think at one point they used to make all their bartenders read this book, but it's called Setting the Table. Really cool hospitality book, easy, light read, but gets you thinking about like, how do you go above and beyond taking care of people and how do you like wow them? And for better or for worse, like I think people in healthcare especially should be thinking about that because it's like, who likes to go see their doctor? Who likes to go, who's like, I love the smell of rubbing alcohol and the sterility of the hospital. Like that's very unpleasant, And so anything those people can do to kind of help make it a more comfy or pleasant experience. I mean, like that has, I actually think, meaningful physiological outcomes or impacts on people.
All right. Well, Ty, thanks for talking about your practice here. It's super, super good to learn. Let's move into our next part of the pod, which is find the flop. So Bowman, go ahead and take it away.
Wes, I'm going to need some help. I've been relocated due to AT&T Fiber, which is definitely not sponsoring this podcast due to their total lack of performance tonight. At home, is where my scoreboard is. So I cannot remember the scoreboard. It's very important. Wes, you had like 13 or 14 points. Tyler had like 3 or 4.
For everyone, I will put the scoreboard on the screen right now.
Thank you.
And there's the actual score.
Perfect. And the guests, by the way, Ty, they're absolutely winning. The guests win every time, which is incredible because these guys are terrible. So the way this game works is that I'm going to list out just a couple questions. Today we're keeping it tight. We're going with 2 questions. I'm going to list out 4 or so companies or products, and you just have to tell me which one flopped. Use your best judgment. I'm going to give some random facts about these fun companies just for fun. Find the flop. So here we go. The first one is going to be golf and stuff. And this is because this is really catering to my audience here. I know you guys are all more golfers than I am maybe, but these companies, 3 of them have done exceptionally well in the past 5 or so years. And another one has failed and pulled out. Honma Golf Balls and Clubs, a Japan-based manufacturer of golf equipment and accessories. It focuses on high-end or premium golf clubs, and that's Honma Golf Clubs, I believe, Japan-based. And then number 2 is Nike Golf, clubs, balls, and bags. Nike, a major player in the golf industry. 3, Callaway Golf, the maker of golf clubs, balls, and performance gear accessories. Callaway Golf. And number 4, Golf Galaxy, which is an omni-channel specialty golf retailer, which is just fancy word for it's found in Dick's Sporting Goods everywhere because it acquired them in 2007. So those are the 3. Number 1, Hanma Golf Balls and Clubs. Number 2, Nike Golf Clubs, Balls and Bags, and Callaway Golf and Golf Galaxy.
Josh, have you ever played a round of golf in your entire life?
I've never played a round of golf my entire life.
Okay, just checking. Ty, do you play golf?
Not well.
Okay, me either. Just
Yeah, I'm terrible at
just
golf.
level setting where all of our golf experience is before we go into this. All right, let me take a stab at this. Josh, because you've never played golf before, you wouldn't understand, but there are some very famous brands out there, Callaway being one of the most, Nike also being one of the most, and Golf Galaxy is still a thing. I have never heard of the first one. It could be Golf Galaxy, but I'm going to go with the Onona, the Japan-based one, only because I've never heard of it. So Konma. We're going Konma, locking it in.
Well, I can't go with what Tyler said. So give me Galaxy Golf. Beside it being alliteration, sounds kind of dumb.
Golf Galaxy.
It flopped. It doesn't matter.
Ty, what are you thinking?
I'm going to say Galaxy Golf as well, I think.
All right. This is my favorite part of the quiz where I get to read what everyone may have been wrong. Number 1, starting with Tyler, my favorite. Hanma Golf Bags and Clubs. The company was founded in 1959, and it caters to all the golfers who love luxury performance and has done extremely well and is still functioning extremely profitable today. It's the luxury end, so you probably haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's out of my price range.
Let's see. Golf Galaxy. Golf Galaxy has established itself as a significant player in the market after being acquired by Dick's, and it's doing very well. It's branched out into footwear and other leading brands. Nike Golf Clubs Bags. Nike is a huge player in the clothing and the shoes industry. But they, after having a really early success for about 10 years in their Nike clubs, Nike balls, and Nike bags, they started doing really poorly and decided to pull out and focus on where they made their most money. So they stuck to shoes specifically and to clothing, but they pulled out of everything else. It's a little bit of a trick question there.
I'm throwing the flag.
No, this is garbage.
That is bullshit. And let me tell you why. You just said Golf Galaxy focused on shoes and they were successful because of that. And then you gave the same reason to why Nike was the fail because of that.
Josh, and Wes, please put this in the edit. The most iconic image in golf history is Tiger Woods, or video, is him pumping his fist in victory. Guess what he's wearing? Nike.
I know. He's wearing Nike. Exactly.
I no, Nike is not a failure in the golf industry whatsoever. I think we all get a point, and you somehow get negative points.
Yeah, Bowman, we're trying to keep your score. Your score,
your score's docked.
All right, fine. Let's from here on out, we have a flags on the field play, and this is going to be flag number 2. All right, this only seems fair. I have to be held accountable, guys, and I'm all about accountability. Just to be clear. And we could do the Gatorade replay of the game here. It would be clubs, balls, and bags. That's why I said it so weird. It's Nike Golf Clubs, Balls, and Bags. I accept the flag. I will research and come directly back with more information next episode.
Bowman, I think we still need an update from a couple episodes back about, what was it?
Yeah. It was pets.com.
Yes.
I think that's
what
what
it was.
Yes.
Pets.com.
Yeah.
I had something written. It's on my home computer, so I'll have to pets.com. I can't remember. There was some extra nuance. The moral of the story is that Tyler's wrong and kind of right, but mostly wrong. And Ty, I know you're going to be dying. You're going to be like, when is that episode dropping? Because I know, like, pets.com, was Tyler right or wrong?
Yeah, I need to know.
All right.
Josh, no. Hold on. If I'm right and pets.com had an incredible exit, then Josh, you need to take a 10-minute ice plunge and record it. If I'm wrong, I'm a man of my word. I'll do the same thing.
Throw in the flag.
It's a challenge.
Although, Tyler, if you're wrong, do I get to choose the temperature?
Whatever temperature you want.
But I'm upping the ante, all right? If I'm wrong about the pets.com flopping, then I think we should, whoever fails has to do the ice bath, record it, and must listen to Andy Elliott TikToks the entire time.
That almost makes it too easy, though. I agreed to those terms. So, yes, agreed.
Lock it in.
Log it in.
Dude, I'm in. I think pets.com flopped. So we're gonna wave that flag for next time. Here we go. Number 2, and this is the last one today. Which of the following supplements or supplement companies has flopped? Can you find the flop among these 4? Number 1, Prime Shred, known for effective fat loss, maintaining muscle mass.
I almost want to lock that one in early.
Number 2, EFX Sports. This company distinguished itself by focusing on supplements for everyday people, not just professional athletes. That's why their name is EFX Sports. Number 3, I'm getting a little silly, guys. It's Friday. Blackstone Labs multivitamins, specifically formatted for males with testosterone boosting ingredients.
Oh, that's not a flop.
And number 4, Animal, highly regarded for a no-nonsense approach to effective products, particularly the Animal Pack multivitamin.
So I don't know the current state of Animal Pack, but I know that they had like a several decade long relevance and were very booming in certain bodybuilder circles. So if they have fallen from grace, I feel like that would hardly count as a flop.
Correct.
What was the first one? The shred one?
Prime Shred.
Bowman, do you have any other information about Prime Shred?
Let's see. Yeah, effective fat loss supplements that focus on maintaining muscle mass, boosting metabolism, enhancing the body's natural fat-burning hormones.
Yeah, give me that one.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. It sounds like you might kill someone. That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like it got banned.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun saying it. Tyler, which one do you think flopped?
I agree with Ty in that Animal had a huge run. It had the black bottle, I think, with the 3, like the tigers or the tiger claws coming down it. I think I've even taken some of it before, to be honest with you guys. The first one, the marketing is so extreme that I feel like it's had to have some success. The third one was talking about improving tea. And I think if you market anything as improving tea, it's going to sell. What was the second one again?
EFX Sports. Super distinguished because they sold to everyday people like me.
See,
not just professional athletes.
No. See, I'm choosing that because, again, you got to know your customer, right? Josh, you are not buying supplements, so I'm going at number 2.
Nice. And Ty, can you remind me, which one do you think flopped?
Yeah, I'm inclined to say the first one, Prime Shred.
Unfortunately, Prime Shred has gained a ton of popularity in the last 5 years and has done pretty well. Oh, and you're so close both times, Ty. You were like, I think it could be the one that it definitely is. And Tyler, EFX Sports is a very popular supplement in the fitness community. Apparently not your fitness community, so maybe broaden that out a bit. Number 3, Blackstone Labs multivitamin for the testosterone boosting ingredients. This is the one that flopped. It was a notable example of a supplement company that had legal challenges that were extreme. Their founder, Aaron Singerman, was sentenced to almost 5 years in prison and ordered to forfeit $3 million after he pleaded guilty to charges of distributing controlled substances and the sales of unapproved new drugs.
Yeah. Can we get Aaron on the pod?
I was going to say, he goes onto our board.
Our dream list? Yeah. Let's put Aaron Singerman on the list. Well, that's it for episode of The Flop. We got one flag on the field from these ungrateful contestants, and we've got a lot of fun, silly facts about stuff no one cares about. Way to find the flop today, boys.
Although no one found the flop. No change in the scoreboard. All right. Well, let's go into our final segment of the day, which is Tyler's quick hitter questions.
All right, Ty. Number 1. What is the weirdest habit or thing that you do routinely?
If I'm like in a kitchen or something where bacon was cooked, I generally need to shower after I'm in that room. It drives me insane. I can't deal with like the grease steam all over my body and hair. I don't know, I'm weirdly sensitive to it. And I used to be that way with like syrup. If I were to eat pancakes with syrup, absolutely would need to shower after.
So how do you feel about maple syrup covered bacon? Because that's a thing.
It's delicious, but obviously you're filthy if you eat it and you need to go cleanse yourself.
Just hose yourself down. Get it off.
Dude, I'm going to brunch this weekend, and I'm going to eat so much maple bacon, and then I'm going to take a long bubble bath. Like, that's going to be my Sunday. I'm going to let you guys know how it goes.
Question number 2. If you could swap lives with any fictional character, who would it be?
So initially I was like, obviously it's got to be a superhero. And then I just, Googled like, what's the most powerful superhero? The internet believes that to be, or one article on the internet believes that to be One Above All, who I read further on. And he sounds kind of like God of the Marvel universe. That felt too narcissistic. So I'm not going to say that one. I was like, I can't say God superhero. No. But otherwise I might be John Galt from Atlas Shrugged.
So number 3, what is the most unexpected skill that you had to acquire when you were starting your chiropractic business coming out of school?
Taking care of an x-ray machine.
Number 4, Ty, if a pack of zombified and angry 8-year-olds attacked you, how many do you think you could fend off at one time?
If they're coming at me slightly staggered, I feel like a solid roundhouse kick to the face would be a pretty, like, I feel confident I could beat up most 8-year-olds. If they were zombified, they're obviously a little more dangerous, but I still think I could clobber a good number of them. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to say between 4 on the conservative end and like, I don't know, maybe 12 if they're spaced out right, maybe 20 if they're really spaced out, and I can like create some distance. And
so, Ty, what is the worst advice that you've either received or that you routinely hear?
We had a friend of one of our defensive coordinator in high school football who played Canadian pro football, came to practice and was coaching us up on some D-line stuff, and genuinely was like, don't listen to your coaches. And we were like, what? Surely we should listen to our coaches. And it's like, no, look, they're trying to get you to play responsibility football. Just go make the big play. And we were like, I'm not going to listen to you. I think that's bad advice. And I'm still to this day shocked that someone gave us that advice as high school athletes.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that does it for quick hitter questions. And it's time to wrap up the pod, ladies and gentlemen. Ty, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit here. Super great insights. It was great chatting with you, getting to know you, and you playing along with all our PT versus chiropractic questions. And it's nice to know that there are good chiropractors out there. And I think we're looking at one right here. So,
absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
For everyone who hasn't yet, be sure to like and subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, whatever podcast platform you use. But until next time, take care.